everyone, I'm back. This is part 3 of Mahailah's story. I've calmed down a little bit now. I've spent a bit of time on the phone with Mahailah. I'm just waiting for Facebook notification to let me know that we're live, and I will let you know what else she's been put through. Okay, so as I said, this is part 3. So you would have heard me go right off on my previous 2 videos about her inability to pay rent and all of the stuffing around that has been going on. So I will backtrack for people who don't know. Mahailah fled Hervey Bay from a domestic violence situation almost 2 years ago after being forced onto the cashless debit card. It was difficult enough, right, convincing them to allow her to use her end of year supplement for her airfares to get out. When she arrived in the town that she's in WA, she wasn't able to buy bed, fridge, lounge, stuff like that, furniture for her empty house. It took a lot of work to do everything on her 20% cash because of the process needed to be able to buy things secondhand and get approvals made it damn near impossible. So she soon discovered that the IGA that she has in her town sells alcohol and she couldn't buy food there, right? She bumbled along for a while and the owner allowed her to buy food through the alcohol section because she could buy alcohol. The alcohol terminal worked. She sent us videos. Bread and milk, decline. UDH, alcohol, green tick, approved. So for a little while there, the guy would do that, but that was going to stuff up his books completely because the alcohol terminal is for alcohol, not food. So that option has now been taken away. All right. Plus, is it very expensive as well, being rural. Okay. She soon found out she has a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and now a 9-week-old. So let me go through what she's been denied so far. Right. Her 2-year-old misses out on daycare because, don't mind my messages are not stopping today, so we just have to put up with the dings, guys, because it's flat out central here. So daycare fees she can't pay on the card, which is denying her 2-year-old early education. Her 5-year-old, the school fees can't be paid on the card. She can't buy uniforms, can't pay for excursions, can't pay for things for her 5-year-old to be included with anything to do with school. This is interfering with 5-year-old's education. Right? Her 9-week-old, she got a back pay of her newborn payment, and her family tax A and B was back paid from when her baby was born. All of that money went 100% on the card. She can't access it. She tried to get a driver's license. She has her learners, but she can't pay for driver's lessons because they're cash only or direct deposit only from her own account. She can't afford this because they are making her pay for everything out of her 20%. Right? And the only way she can get fresh food to her house is to transfer money to her father or her friends for them to drive 30 kilometres to the next town, buy stuff from Woolies, nappies and stuff like that, you know what I mean, and all of her groceries, and then she's got to give those people cash money to be able to pay for fuel. Okay, so she's being denied access. All of her school needs for her children are being denied. All of her training. Now, she tried to do a course to do to become a lash technician because she's trying to self-employ herself to get off welfare, but they want everybody off welfare. But she couldn't pay for the course properly. She can't pay for the materials because she can't use the card. So that stuffed her studies. Can't pay for supplies. No access to cash. Can't just jump on the bus. Cash only. Right? But she can't actually draw any cash out in that town either from her 20%. So there is a little tiny community centre there, but everything's cash. If she needs to use the computer or printing, right, everything's cash. She is in a real box, excuse me, right? So a few months back, you would have seen an article that we posted from Gwyn 7 News, right? They actually went to the town after we published the videos showing that she could not buy bread and milk, but she could buy alcohol. So Gwyn News took a camera crew out there and they filmed it for themselves. Anne Ruston came on the TV that night promising to sort things out and that they would be in touch with Mahailah. Right? They never did get in touch with her. Now, the situation she's got now, as of 6 weeks ago, her rent has now gone on to a periodic lease. Okay? She has been lied to completely. She's been screwed around. Right? On the 27th of April, she was told that the documents that they had sent her, the rent certificate, was out of date. Yet she sent me the paperwork and it had on it, I think it was the 4th of May, it was due on the 27th of April. And they were trying to say, oh no, that's not acceptable because it's out of date. But they didn't tell her that they'd rejected it then either. They've stuffed her around for the last 2 weeks on top of the previous 4 weeks of not being allowed to pay rent. Yesterday she was approved. Today she was declined. Then she was told in the same conversation while I was online with you guys and in message box with her, she was told it was rejected. Okay? This is too much. Okay, this woman's mental health is on the floor. Her depression is beyond, seriously. So, hashtag pay Mahailah's rent, right? If you want to help, send me a message in the message box. She's not the only person they've done this to. They've done it to hundreds of single parents. They've targeted single parents that were pregnant when they've done all this sort of shit to them. And we've, you know, and I'm so angry that women are being treated this way. People on the card are being treated this way. The reason why I don't mention the guys is the guys don't tell me what they're going through. I know they're suffering out there, but they very rarely tell me what's going on, right? And until they get off, and then they come back to me and say, I got off the card. It's like, thank you. But they don't like to, they sit in depression. Who knows what happens to them, but they don't get support. Do you know what I mean? But what is it when domestic violence services are not actually offering the support that these people need either, because they will send them from refugees from Perth, and the choice is Seduna or Bundaberg card regions. We're going to put you on the cashless debit card when you've just fled domestic violence and you've just had the crap beaten out of you. You know what I mean? This is what happened with another lady that we were dealing with. Anne Ruston claims to be the Minister for Women's Safety. This is not keeping women safe and their children safe. This is denying families access to education at all levels. All levels, because she can't pay daycare fees. She was going to try and do her course. And when prior to COVID, she was doing she had a cleaning business as a sole trader. But the problem is, again, getting supplies properly. COVID stopped a lot of that. But she couldn't afford to pay her daycare fees. It's all got to come out of her cash portion. Everything's got to come out of her cash portion. A cash portion is not enough to live on. It's 20% and it's $200 every 28 days. It's not enough to pay your rent. It's not enough to pay your transport. It's not enough to pay your daycare fees, your school fees, school uniforms, excursions, right? Swimming lessons, okay? I've got other parents that have got disabled children. They can't pay for speech therapy. They can't pay for swimming lessons. They can't pay for school needs. This is damaging carers, parents caring for disabled adults as well. Can somebody please tell me why Hearing Queensland is banned? Why is the Hearing Centre for Queensland banned? Does that mean that somebody can't buy hearing implants and hearing aids on the cashless debit card? I guess not, because people can't buy colostomy bags. They can't buy stethoscopes for women who are studying a Bachelor of Medicine. They can't buy those sort of things. You can't buy compression bandages. You can't buy pep feeds, right? I don't understand why you can't buy all of this life-saving equipment. Why you can't buy, why Mahailah can't buy food. Right? Why can't she buy food? Because the IGA is too expensive and he sells alcohol. The only damn thing that's approved in that whole town is for her to buy alcohol. Right? And yet people are ringing Anne Ruston's office and being told it's to stop people from buying alcohol. Ironically, the only damn thing that Mahailah can buy is alcohol. She doesn't want to buy alcohol. She wants to buy nappies and she wants to buy the food that she needs for her children, and she needs to be able to pay school stuff and transport and her own study needs. Most of all, she needs to pay the rent. And I'm not going to stop until this is sorted, until Mahailah is off the card. Get her off the card. She doesn't deserve to be on the card. She wasn't the abuser. She doesn't have addiction problems, right? But this is what she gets for being a survivor of domestic violence. More domestic violence, but it's perpetrated by the government. Government-sanctioned abuse. Government-sanctioned abuse. Hashtag pay Mahailah's rent. Hashtag let Mahailah pay rent. Hashtag stop the card. Okay? Go to it, guys. Make it viral. See ya.